So we will not be releasing any victim's name at this time. We have identified the suspect. Approximately an hour ago, the suspect was identified as Ian David Long, I-A-N, David Long, a birth date of March 27th, 1990. He was 28 years old. We've had several contacts with Mr. Long over the years, minor events such as a traffic collision. He was a victim of a battery at a local bar in 2015. In April of this year, deputies were called to his house for a subject disturbing. They went to the house, they talked to him. He was somewhat irate, acting a little irrationally. They called out our crisis intervention team, our mental health specialist, who met with him, talked to him, and cleared him, didn't feel that he was qualified to be taken under 5150, and he was left at that scene last April. Deputies are at the house now. They have secured the residence, and they're seeking a search warrant to do a thorough search of the house. The weapon used in this horrific shooting was a Glock 21 .45 caliber handgun. The handgun is designed to hold in California 10 rounds and one in the chamber. This weapon did have a extended magazine on it. We do not know at this time how many rounds were actually in the weapon or how many rounds the magazine could actually hold, because it's still being processed as part of the evidence. I'd be happy to answer any questions you might have. Yeah, we believe that's the only weapon that was used was that handgun.
Did you know why he did this, sir? Why he did this?
We don't.
Oh gosh.
We don't know if he. Sorry. We don't know if he reloaded his weapon or not. We're still interviewing witnesses. There's not necessarily indication that happened. It appears he walked up to the scene. He shot the security guard that was standing outside. He stepped inside. It appears that he turned to the right and shot several of the other security and employees there, and then began opening fire inside the nightclub. We don't have any other details to confirm an exact chronology about what happened. We will provide that to you as we bring all of our witness statements together, and we feel more comfortable about talking about that.
Do you have any idea of a motive?
We have no idea what the motive was at this point.
Did he purchase his weapon legally, and was the incident in April, did that happen at his home?
The incident in April happened at his home, and he did purchase the weapon legally.
Was he living alone?
Despite the 5150 hold?
The 5150 hold was never placed on him.
Oh, okay.
The mental health experts out there cleared him that day.
Can you elaborate on the other interactions your deputies have had with him? Is it more than just these two?
It was one. He was involved in he received a traffic citation, and another one he was involved in a traffic collision. So pretty minor interactions. He is a veteran. He was in the United States Marine Corps.
And Sheriff, we heard he may be suffering from PTSD. Did your crisis team?
I understand that was part of the discussion when the deputies went out to the call with the crisis team, that felt he might be suffering from PTSD, basing the fact he was a veteran and had been in the Corps.
Can you clarify any more on how the deputy was shot?
When Sergeant Helis and the Highway Patrol officer went in, they immediately exchanged gunfire with the suspect, and that's when Sergeant Helis was shot several times.
Do you know the date he was discharged from the Marine Corps?
No, I have no idea about his service record.
Do you know when the suspect was shot? If he shot himself or how he died?
We believe he shot himself. When the officers went in and made re-entry, they found him already deceased.
Where inside the bar was he found?
How long before?
He was found inside an office just adjacent to the entry to the bar.
It's our understanding that Sergeant Helis was able to call his wife right before he ran into the bar.
Sergeant Helis was having a conversation with his wife on the phone, as he does several times during the shift, and said to her, "Hey, I got to go handle the call. I love you. I'll talk to you later."
Did the gunman say anything to any of the victims?
How much time expired from the first shot?
not as far as we know at this point. He could have, but we don't know.
Any indication that he may have been targeting employees of the establishment?
Now, there's no indication that he targeted the employees, or we haven't found any correlation. We'll probably know more after we execute the search warrant at his house, that maybe there was a motive for this particular night, but at this point, we have no information leading to that at all.
Were the security personnel part of the accounts from different witnesses of what this guy was wearing? Can you tell us what, based on what you already know, what he was wearing and his direction of travel once he walked into the bar?
All I know about his direction of travel is he went in and he turned right and fired at the employees that were standing there. He was, my best recollection from 7 hours ago, he was wearing a black sweater, and I don't remember what color pants he was wearing. I apologize.
Mask and all?
What time
Not when we went inside. He was not.
How soon did the police respond after the first shot?
2.5 minutes.
Did he use smoke bombs?
We haven't confirmed where they used a smoke bomb, but we have a couple witnesses that have alluded to that.
So there was no reason to believe that there was anything wrong with this person before this happened.
Well, I mean, you can say there's no reason to believe it, but I mean, obviously he had something going on in his head that would cause him to do something like this. So he obviously had some sort of issues.
Is he a Thousand Oaks resident?
No.
Was the security guard that was
Do
shot
we know of any
armed?
pre-existing relation
No.
to this bar?
He was not armed.
No.
Was anybody armed in the bar that we know of?
Not that we know of.
Is he from Thousand Oaks?
Do we know of any pre-existing relationship with this bar? Why this particular location?
There's no connection as of yet.
We know how this ended. We heard from any of the witnesses whether they just at some point turned the weapon on himself or someone was trying to approach him, or how this acted.
Yeah, we don't know. We know that once Sergeant Helis and the Highway Patrol officer engaged him, the shooting inside stopped. So we don't know if he then went back in the office and shot himself, or how that really transpired.
And the suspect lives in Thousand Oaks, or where?
He lives in Newbury Park.
Sheriff, why do you think this keeps happening in the United States of America and not in comparable rich democracies?
That's a pretty challenging question. I think we see unfortunate, horrific accidents.
Thank you. Copy that.
That happen all over the world, and I don't know if it happens more in the United States or doesn't.
Well,
I'd have to read the stats.
It does. Why do you think that is?
Well, I don't know. If I knew the answer to that, I'd do something to stop it.
Can you talk about the training that Sergeant Helis and the other members of law enforcement have for an active shooter situation just like this, and how that helped when they arrived on scene?
Well, as we talked about at the wee hours of the morning, post the Columbine shooting, how we approach active shooters changed completely. Instead of waiting and surrounding and bringing our SWAT team, the officers are to immediately engage and try to stop the target and stop the killing. And that's exactly what happened here.
Do you believe they helped save lives?
Can you give us the count one more time?
There's no doubt that they saved lives by going in there and engaging with the suspect. Who knows? Who knows? We don't know how many people there. I've heard anywhere from 150 to 200 people in there. So this, not that by any means the loss of 13 lives is good, but it could have been much, much worse.
How many people were employees, and how many people were people that were in the bar?
I don't know.
Is it your belief that this was random, or do you really think he was targeted, even though you don't include what
Well, I don't think it was random. He's a resident of this area, and I would have to, common sense would speculate that there's some reason he went here. He probably knew about it, but I don't think it was just. It's not like he was driving down the freeway and decided I'm going to get off here.
Sheriff, do we know the age ranges of the victims?
Targeted any specific victims inside?
There's nothing to lead us to believe that actually happened.
Yeah, are there any commonalities with the heroics performed by people inside, saving some 30 people? What do you want to say about that?
It's just amazing. There were probably 6 off-duty police officers in there from a couple different agencies, and I've already talked to a parent that came up and said they stood in front of my daughter. So it was amazing. It was amazing.
What kind of agency? Can you tell us what agency?
What's your advice to people right now? What's sort of your word to the community as a leader?
When I went and spoke at a Jewish synagogue after the tragedy on the East Coast, and when I talked to the parishioners there, and I followed up on the rabbi, I said, we've got to do something about the hate, and we've got to do something to just spread the love and reach out and help people and be patient with them and understand them, because this will touch so many lives around our community.
Sheriff, any indication of social media that he may have been using, or he was complaining about something?
There's nothing to indicate that, but we are looking at his social media sites, which I'm sure all of you are also.
How long ago did he purchase the gun?
Engage him at all?
None of them were armed.
Sheriff Dean, can you give additional information about the law officer that passed away?
It's out there as Sergeant Ron Helis. He's a 54-year-old, 29-year veteran of the sheriff's office. He's married with a grown son, and as I've said several times, he went in there to save people and made the ultimate sacrifice.
Sheriff, is there a commonality with the civilian victims, whether in age or gender or some other demographic, or even by location within the crime scene where they're located?
No, I don't believe so. I mean, I once they get inside, you use the word random, and I think that it appears to be random inside. I don't think he was targeting people. We could do a further investigation. It could prove to be true, but it doesn't appear to be that way at this point.
Do you have a clue when and where he bought the gun?
Pardon me?
Do you have a clue when and where he purchased the gun?
Our partners at ATF are currently in the process of investigating that for us.
Do we know how many security personnel there are?
No, I don't know exactly. I believe there might have been 4 or 5 that I saw, but I'm not sure how many were in there.
What is the plan to honor Sergeant Helis today?
I'm sorry?
What is the plan to honor Sergeant
At 10 o'clock, we will... At 10 o'clock, we'll be moving his body from Los Robles Hospital to the medical examiner's office in Ventura, and we'll be convoying him over.
But the loss of the sergeant, what is this community lost?
It's lost a hero. It's lost a great human being. It's part of the loss of the 11 other victims that are in there, and it's all part of the suffering that we're all going to go through as family members and parents and brothers and sisters on this tragic, senseless loss of life.
30 years on the force, was he close to retirement?
He was within a couple of years of retiring, yes.
Can you talk about any training that these deputies may have been through recently to go in there? Were they prepared?
We do ongoing active shooter training with all of our personnel. In our county, we train with our firefighters also. So if we need medical rescue, we take our firefighters in with us. So it's an ongoing training that we've been doing for years.
What can you say about the number of injuries and what happened with them, how badly they're injured, the number of people?
It's my understanding, and again, don't hold me to this, that there's one other minor gunshot injury, and there's somewhere between 8 and 15 other injured, mostly cuts from jumping out of windows, diving under tables. They're relatively minor compared to everything else.
Was the suspect employed? Did he work for this?
We don't know that much yet.
Sheriff, were there exits? What kind of exits did the bar and grill have? Several? Or?
Yeah, there's fire escapes, and the patrons exited out of all those. They ran out of back doors, they broke windows, they went through windows, they hid up in the attic, they hid in the bathroom. So unfortunately, our young people or people at nightclubs have learned that this may happen, and they think about that. Fortunately, it probably saved a lot of lives that they fled the scene so rapidly.
Was he involved in a bar fight before, the suspect?
Not that.
Any history issues before?
He was the victim of. Yeah, he was a victim of a battery in January of 2015. It wasn't here. It wasn't at this bar.
What bar was it?
At a different bar.
Where was it? Do you know what bar it was?
I don't.
Was it in this county?
Yeah, it was in Thousand Oaks. I can't remember which bar it was.
Can you tell us the sex of the victims?
He drove to the bar in his mom's car. Is that accurate?
I'm not sure whose car it is. He drove to the bar in a car. I'm not sure who it's registered
Do you know
to.
which car that is?
Yes, we do.
Any other evidence of the car?
We're still obtaining a search warrant to do that. We're not allowed to go in without the warrant.
Do you know how long that shooting lasted from when he first opened gunfire?
No, I don't.
Are there any concerns with that car at this point?
No, we put the bomb dog by it and everything, and we feel comfortable. I was just standing by it, so we're good.
Do you guys have more to do at the scene, or are you going to keep investigating?
We'll be here for 15 or 20 hours at least. We still need to go through identify. Our FBI partners are doing a great job. They brought in their expert evidence team. They're flying people in from Quantico to do the scene. So we'll be here a long, long time.
And what does it look like in there?
Like hell.
Can you tell us the sex of the victims, the ratio?
No, we don't have those things identified yet.
The search of the house, there's no other threats there either.
We have the house secured. We go in, we secure the house, we make sure everything's safe in there, and then we go ask the judge for a search warrant to search it more thoroughly. So we feel safe that it's secured right now.
Was there anyone else at the house?
Have you reached out or made contact with his relatives? And have they indicated that there was something that may have been an issue?
We've had some conversations with some family members, and it would be premature to talk about that. It's still part of the ongoing investigation.
Do you plan to stay on until the investigation is tomorrow?
No, I'm no longer the sheriff, but tomorrow at midnight. But I will certainly be a part with the family.
So for sure, more on that, Sheriff, you're retiring tomorrow?
I am.
Sir, what is your message to families who still have loved ones unaccounted for?
We have a family center set up. They need to call the number, and we are expediting as quick as we can because my heart goes out to those parents and family members that don't know. So contact our family help center, and we will coordinate with you. And as soon as we have any information, it will be going right to the families.
Do you know the age range of the victims?
I don't.
For this to be one of your last days on the job, I mean, what's that like? What's going through your mind as you?
It can't be any worse.
And how's your department doing?
They're mourning, they're sad, it's awful. Ron was a great guy, he was close to everybody, he was a hard worker, and the hearts are broken all over.
He was also nearing retirement. What do you say to the fact that he didn't get there and this had to happen?
I just say a prayer for him and his family. I don't know if it'll be me, but I think the next thing that would be important to you is when we can release victims' names, and we will do that as soon as we can. And if we can do it incrementally, we'll do that, so we don't have to wait, because I imagine some of the identifications are going to take longer. So, but candidly, that's going to be at least a couple hours. Yeah.
Just talk about the weapon one more time and what you can tell based on the weapon and what was recovered.
The weapon was a Glock 21. 45 caliber, and again, the weapon was designed in California to hold a magazine of 10 rounds and one in the chamber, but he had an extended magazine on it, but we have no way to know how many rounds he actually had in there.
And that's illegal to have in California, that type of...
The extended magazine, yes.
So the gun itself wasn't extended magazine?
Correct.
And he had the gun itself?
Yeah, the gun was legally purchased. At least that's ATF is looking into details for us.
Is that a date of purchase?
They don't have that for us yet. They're the experts.
Motive. Can you say anything about motive?
We have no idea. We have no idea.
Was he diagnosed with PTSD? Do you know that?
We don't know that. No, we have no idea.
Any medication?
Don't know that. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.